The Senate will come to order. Senator Mitchell.
Mr. President, I request that the Senate be put under call.
The Senate is now under call. Senators, please make sure that you check in so we can get moving expeditiously. Members, if you see Senator Abler, could you ask him to report to the floor, or he's going to miss his opportunity. Senators, make sure you check in, please. Senator Mitchell.
Mr. President, I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and the Sergeant at Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
On that motion, any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now remain under motions and resolutions. I'm calling now on members. We will revert to the third order of business. Messages from the House. The Secretary will read the message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following Senate file as amended by the House, in which amendments the concurrence of the Senate is respectfully requested. Senate file number 3307, a bill for an act relating to legislative enactments, correcting miscellaneous oversights, inconsistencies, ambiguities, unintended results, and technical errors. Senate file number 3307 is herewith returned to the Senate. Signed, Patrick D. Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Explain what we're doing so people know.
Senator Latz for a motion.
Mr. President and members, this is the technical corrections bill or the revisor's bill. Let me tell you what we're doing here.
You have to use the other mic because that's the one that's connected to our Senate feed. Senator Latz.
All right, members, this is the technical corrections or the revisor's bill. Let me tell you procedurally where this is at. We passed.
So, Senator Latz, just move the concurrent amendment, and then we'll have you explain it.
Thank you. I move that the Senate concur in the amendments by the House to Senate File 3307, and that the bill be placed on its repassage as amended.
Senator Latz moved that the Senate concur in the amendments by the House to Senate File number 3307, and that the bill be placed on its repassage as amended. Senator Latz, now to your detailed analysis of this motion and bill.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This is the technical correction, sometimes called the revisor's bill. It cleans up some technical errors that occurred in bills that we passed this legislative session, such as having incorrect cross-references or some language that got dropped or missed or was inappropriately stated. It's all been signed off on by the chief authors of the bills that are being corrected, as well as by the chair of the Judiciary Committee and the minority lead. That's me and Senator Limmer. And then again by the chief authors, or the two authors of the technical corrections bill. It's me as the chief author and Senator Limmer as the second author. So all of these items are non-controversial. We did send this bill off of the Senate floor, sent it to the House, where they were to add any additional changes that came along. In the meantime, they did that, updated the language in the bill, and sent it back to us. So what we're going to do is request that we concur in the House's additions to the Revisor's bill. Since they sent their bill to us, it has been determined there are 3 additional provisions that do need to be corrected from legislation this session. So we are kind of creating another vehicle, which we'll be dealing with later tonight, into which we are going to put those additional corrections and anything else that comes up between now and sometime later this evening, so we can be as complete as we possibly can. And even though technically that's not the Revisor's bill, we're going to go through the same approval process for it, so that what will come before us later will also be technical corrections that have been approved by everyone along the way, so there should be nothing controversial about it. So for right now, I ask that we give a green vote to concurring in the House amendments to this technical corrections bill before us. Thank you.
Any discussion on the Latz motion? Motion to concur in the House amendment. Any additional discussion? Senator Limmer. Senator Limmer, we have to bring your mic over.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would Senator Latz yield for questions?
Senator Latz, will you yield? He will yield. Senator Limmer.
Thank you. Senator Latz, this seems a little unusual that we have a supplementary correction bill sometime in the future. I understand there may be some corrections that want consideration, but do you have, what would be the mechanism that we could anticipate? Is there an existing bill to amend? Is there, would it even be germane to that particular bill? Any other technical corrections? Just let me know how the process and the mechanics would work in the remaining time we have left.
Senator Latz, to that question.
Mr. President, Senator Limmer, we do have a House File 447 that was passed by the House and sent over to the Senate, which we have not taken up on the Senate floor. The contents of that bill would be deleted in its entirety, and we would sometime later tonight, we would have a delete everything amendment to put in there just the additional technical corrections that we weren't able to get done in time for the from the bill that's before us today. The actual content right now of House File 447 includes eliminating the fees for uncertified documents from the courts and giving lawyers access to the judicial record-keeping system online and so on. Those were already incorporated separately into our Judiciary Public Safety Omnibus Bill. There's one other provision in House File 447 dealing with lawyers' access to the courthouses, which was not moved forward at all this legislative session. But in any case, they will all be deleted from the vehicle, House File 447, and then we will add only the technical corrections on to that. So there won't be any germaneness issues in that regard. And as I said, whatever is added later tonight, the 3 provisions that we know about, and anything else that comes between now and then, we'll go through the same approval process that the current Revisor's bill does. So there isn't any question about whether or not they are controversial or there are any issues regarding any of them.
Senator Limmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Latz, for that clarification. Appreciate it.
Any other discussion on Senate File 3307? Seeing none, the Secretary will give 3337. Oh, we have to adopt it. I'm sorry. All in favor of the adoption, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The motion prevails. It is adopted. Now, the secretary will give the bill its third reading.
Senate File Number 3307, a bill for an act relating to legislative enactments, correcting miscellaneous oversights, inconsistencies, ambiguities, unintended results, and technical errors.
Third reading. Any other discussion on Senate File 3307? Seeing none, the secretary will take the roll on Senate File 3307 for final passage. Members, please vote.
Yep.
Senator Bowden, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I report that Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator McEwen votes aye.
Senator McEwen votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye. Senator Rasmussen, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Barr votes no.
Senator Barr votes no. All senators having voted who desires to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There have been 49 ayes and 13 noes. The bill is passed and its title agreed to. I'm trying to see why Senator Latz is still standing. Senator Latz, were you going to make your grand speech on how important this bill is? I was wondering why he was still standing.
Well, apparently I needed to convince the president, but we'll let it go.
We are now going on to Senator Pappas for the conference committee report, or for a motion. I'm sorry, Senator Pappas. Oh, Senator Disick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to Rule 26, I designate the following bills be made on special orders for immediate consideration. Members, you should have a new list on your desk, and we are going to start with House File 670, which is number 142 on general orders, and I believe this is the cash bonding bill. Thank you.
Members, as Senator Disick so eloquently stated, you have a new special orders list on your desk. We will start with number 142 that's on general orders. That is House File 670. Senator Pappas, this is spending authorization to acquire and better land and buildings and for the improvement of capital nature with certain conditions. Senator Pappas, to that bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thought you were going to give the opening comments to my bill, reading the title. Members, this is a great day. After 3 years, we finally, with all your support, are going to be passing 2 fantastic capital investment infrastructure bills. Mr. President, the bills before us represent investment in everything that makes Minnesota the North Star state. Infrastructure and jobs package that will change Minnesota's lives for better, totaling $2.3 billion. From clean water and smooth roads to modern buildings and accessible natural areas, the projects encompass nearly every aspect of life across the state. These projects are distributed equally across greater Minnesota and the metro area. Of these projects, roughly half are in GOP districts, half are in DFL districts, or span multiple districts and issue areas. Personally, I've visited many of the project sites in this bill on bonding tours throughout the years, and I've seen the impact of construction delays when the legislature has failed to pass a bonding bill, and local communities and state agencies have come back year after year begging us to help them with their essential infrastructure and asset preservation needs. Our constituents shouldn't have to wait year after year for clean drinking water and safe roads. Our towns and cities shouldn't have to raise local fees to unsustainable levels to pay for these projects all on their own. This bill will help relieve the backlog that has built up over the past few years and get us back on track to taking care of the people who rely on us in a timely and responsible manner. As you may have heard me say before, there's a huge appetite for capital projects in this state. As of today, the Capital Investment Committee will end the 2023 legislative session with 614 bills having been referred to its jurisdiction. Last summer, MMB had reviewed projects totaling $5.5 billion in requests. With this bill, we serve the entire state of Minnesota. We have asset preservation for state agencies, taking care of what our state already owns, including our higher ed institutions. We have accessibility measures, making our state parks, public buildings, and playgrounds accessible. We have economic development and workforce training facilities for underserved populations and industries in need. In the area of education, we're providing a new chemistry lab for the University of Minnesota and remodels for many Minnesota State facilities. We're also providing funding to Minnesota State Academies, serving our blind and deaf students, Purpose Center of the Arts, and early childhood education. In the area of environment and climate, the needs of our state in responding to climate change. In the cash infrastructure bill, we have investments toward needed environmentally conscious infrastructure, including responding to flooding, a major issue for large portions of our state. Addressing food insecurity through support to food shelves and investments going toward health and wellness centers across the state. In the area of housing, taking care of our public housing buildings, improving and building shelters for our homeless youth and families in support of new affordable housing construction. $50 million from our target was allocated to emergency shelter facilities traveling in the HHS omnibus bill. Throughout this session, we've heard a lot about public safety needs in our communities. This bill puts dollars toward the development of public safety facilities and training spaces for public safety officers across the state. And the number one issue I've heard from these communities this year is the dire need for access to clean drinking water and wastewater treatment improvements. I spent 3 committee hearings on this topic alone. This bill provides over $500 million towards water infrastructure. That includes $41 million to match another $100 federal dollars coming to our state for a total of $600 million, in addition to direct appropriations to communities in need. During COVID, we all found a renewed appreciation for our state and regional parks. I often say that we love our parks to death. This bill provides funding toward the development and maintenance of our parks and trails. It seems more and more rare to pick up a newspaper these days without reading about the poor state of our roads and another broken wheel or tire because of a pothole. We have over $400 million in the bill addressing local roads, bridges, and improvements to our transit system with bus rapid transit. Finally, Minnesota is home to a diverse community. The largest population of Hmong individuals outside of Laos resides in Minnesota. We also have a thriving East African populations living across our state, plus our Native community and our traditional African American and Latinx communities. This bill seeks to address community and cultural centers for communities that tend to have less access to resources so that they too can have facilities, museums, and learning spaces that reflect their unique contributions to our state, including the Ukrainian Community Center to support refugees coming from Ukraine due to the war with Russia. Finally, members, I do have a long list of thank yous. Please indulge me. I want to thank you to my Vice Chair, Senator Pappas, and my committee's minority lead, Senator Housley, the other members of my committee, Senators Dibble, Friends, Nelson, Pratt, Jasinski, Mohammed, Rasmussen, and Shang. We have a great committee, and I'm looking forward to touring the state with all of you in the late summer and fall. I also really want to thank the other body, my counterparts and committee partner, Representative Fu Lee. Just a pleasure to work with them. our nonpartisan staff, Hannah Grunwald-Noldner and Stephanie James, and our revisor, Jeff Case. I want to give a call out to him again. And the drafters who helped in putting together over 270 amendments that were prepared for the previous bill. I want to name them by name because they spent a lot of hours on these amendments. Hannah Franz, who drafted and kept the project organized, Lindsay Bungard, Stephen Carver, Greg Cato, Tyler Gustafson, Daniel Nelson. Behind the scenes, people who often don't get a shout out. I want to thank my CLA, Fatima Acosta Mendoza, our committee pages, Sam Shackman and Andrew George. Of course, my committee administrator, the amazing Rachel Carlson, who keeps us all in line. Our Senate researchers, Nate Pasco, Larissa Fisher. And I want to really thank the leadership from all 4 caucuses who made this bill happen today. Thank you so much for supporting capital investment. With that, members, I believe I need to move the A352 delete all amendment, which represents the agreed upon House File 670 cash bill.
Senator Pappas moves the A352 amendment. The Secretary will report the A352 amendment.
Senator Pappas moves to amend House File number 670 as follows. Delete everything after the enacting clause and insert. This is the A352 amendment.
Senator Pappas, do you need to say anything else, or this is the agreement?
This is the agreement. Mr. Chairman, I would appreciate your support.
Any other discussions on the A352 amendment? Senator Johnson.
Members, I just wanted to say the spreadsheet is on your desk, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me once we put this amendment on the bill.
Any other discussions on the A352 amendment? Senator Dzieck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this was part of an agreement that Minority Leader Johnson, Minority Leader Damath, and Speaker Hortman and I made when we kind of had the global agreement to try to come to a bonding bill, because we all want to help to help the communities across the state with their requests. And so as part of this agreement, we have the GO bill, and then we had a cash bill. And the agreement was to put the new Republican projects in the GO bill and the new Democratic projects in the cash bill. And it wasn't so that we had a Republican bill and a Democrat bill. It was just how we felt that it would work out. And then there was a mix-up. Staff was working really hard. Staff was working late. This all, took place late at night. And there was also Republican projects from the House already in that cash bill. And so unfortunately, a bunch of them and maybe some new ones got put in the cash bill instead of the GO bill. So continuing to have discussion among the 4 leaders, because there was some concerns where people might not have wanted to vote for some of the other projects in the cash bill, but they also didn't want to vote against their own project. So we had an agreement and an understanding that so as to not cause a problem or political problem going forward where somebody could say, you didn't vote for that project, you didn't vote for that project in your district. We have an agreement that certain people might be off the board today. They will be excused, so they're not voting against their project in their district. We all know that we support all of these projects all across the state, so I just want to put that on the record that people might be off the board right now when we take this vote. They will be excused, and that is part of the agreement. So thank you, Mr. President, and I don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
Any other discussions on the A352 amendment? Senator Johnson.
Testing. There it is. All right. And Mr. President, and I'd just like to echo what Senator Dzieck said. This is just procedural. We'll be doing this today. It's a little bit unprecedented, but given the short time frame we had, it's understandable that something could happen like this. So just appreciate Senator Dzieck's comments regarding the vote today and what will be taking place on the board. So thank you, Mr. President.
Any other discussion? Senator Pappas.
And Mr. President, I did not ask for a roll call on this first vote. Obviously, on the final vote, we need to have a roll call.
Any other discussion on the A352 amendment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we now we have before us the House File 670 as amended. Senator Pappas, before we vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the A352 amendment.
You just did the A352 amendment.
No, I did the I'm sorry, I have the A354 amendment.
Senator Pappas offers the A354 amendment. The Secretary will report the A354 amendment.
Senator Pappas moves to amend the A352 amendment to House File number 670 as follows. Page 2, line 12, after the third comma, insert. This is the A354 amendment to the amendment.
Senator Pappas to the A354 amendment.
Thank you, members. These are just a very few provisions that didn't make it into the delete all. And I will just explain them that the four caucus leaders, Senator Housley and Representative Erdahl and Representative Fooley and I have all agreed. They're relatively technical. So the first one has to do with the tree planting grants in the bill, and this came from MMB, and they wanted to insert tribal governments into permission to be able to apply for tree planting grants. The second one, on line 1.5, where it says delete, construct, and insert design, that's for Rice Creek Park. Oftentimes, if you can't fully fund a project, you need to draw back the scope, and this was one that we were only able to fund design for, so that got restricted. On the next one, on line 1.6 is another MMB request, just technical language to insert the Commissioner of Human Services. On line 1.7, this has to do with the Brooklyn Center, Community Center, and which language was mistakenly left off. And so we need to add design and construct. And then this last one on 1.8 says that the City of Litchfield may use up to 4% of this appropriation to administer the historic building facade grants. And this is a Representative Erdahl proposal for Litchfield and their historic building facades. And I would appreciate your support for this amendment.
Any other discussion to the A354 amendment? Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The A354 is adopted. Members, any other questions or discussion on House File 670 as amended? Seeing none, the Secretary will take the final roll on House File. I'm getting ahead of myself. The Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File number 670, a bill for an act relating to capital investment, authorizing spending to acquire and better land and buildings, and for other improvements of a capital nature with certain conditions, etc.
Now, third reading. Seeing no further discussions, the Secretary will take the roll for final passage of House File 670 as amended. Please vote. Senator Bowden, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I report that Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator McEwen votes aye.
Senator McEwen votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye.
President?
Senator Senator Rasmussen, for those voting under Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Barr votes no.
Senator Barr votes no. All senators having voted, who desires to vote? Oh, I need 41. Yeah. Members, we're just waiting for another person to come vote. Thank you for your patience. Senator Bowden, for those voting under Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I report that Senator Fate votes aye.
Senator Fate votes aye. Now, all senators having voted who desires to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There being 35 ayes and 14 noes, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Members, under special orders, we are now going to General Orders number 143, which is House File 669, Pappas, which is also a spending authorization. Senator Pappas, so that I don't read all your script when I'm describing the bill, you can now explain House File 669.
Thank you, Mr. President. This really completes the package. The other one was the cash bill. This is the bonding bill. As I mentioned, you have the spreadsheet that differentiates which projects are GO, which are bonds, and GF, which is cash. Again, I have the agreed upon amendment before you, and then I will have a small amendment to the amendment. So, Mr. President, I would move the A10 amendment.
Senator Pappas moves the A10 amendment. The secretary, at the appropriate time, will report the A10 amendment.
Senator Pappas moves to amend House File number 669 as follows. Delete everything after the enacting clause and insert. This is the A10 amendment.
Senator Pappas to the A10 amendment.
Mr. President, I think I've spoken enough. I explained the spreadsheet that's on members' desks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or anything to be said about the A10 amendment? It's not up online yet, they said. I'll wait. I'll pause. Let me know when it's there. It just arrived. There you go. Any other discussions on the A10 amendment? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion prevails. Members, we are on House File 669 as amended. Any discussions on the House File 669 as amended? Senator Pappas.
Mr. President, I'd like to offer the A11 amendment.
Senator Pappas offers the A11 amendment. The secretary will report the A11 amendment.
Senator Pappas moves to amend the A10 amendment to House File number 669 as adopted by the Senate as follows. Page 55, delete lines 17 to 19 and insert. This is the A11 amendment.
Senator Pappas to your A11 amendment.
Thank you, members. Again, these were a few items that didn't quite meet the deadline to be in the delete all. The first one you can see is language for the Chaska West project, which just clarifies what the dollars are being spent for. And the second one on line 1.8 through 110 gives Vernon Center a time extension in order to complete their project. And that's all there is with those. With this bill, this amendment. Thank you.
Any questions or discussion on the A11 amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the A11 amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion prevails. The A11 amendment is adopted. Members, we're on House File 669 as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, the secretary will give the Senator Johnson. You want to speak on third reading? Okay, we'll certainly make sure that happens. Anything else? The secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File 669, a bill for an act relating to capital investment, authorizing spending to acquire and better public land and buildings and for other improvements of a capital nature, etc.
Third reading. Any discussion on House File 669 as amended? Senator Housley. You turn it on, Kinshaw.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to thank Senator Pappas, Representative Fooley, and Representative Erdahl for all of their hard work on this. I want to thank our leaders, Leader Johnson, Leader Dietzig, Leader Hortman, and Leader Damath. And I want to apologize to Hannah Grunwald-Noldner and Stephanie James for all of the deadlines that we cut really, really short. And I want to thank them how much we appreciate all of the work that they did. I want to thank all of the researchers, Larissa Fisher and the staff on both sides of the aisle, and my legislative assistant, Angelique McDonald. I also want to thank all of our members here for working together and being patient to make sure that this was the bill that we all wanted, and being so understanding about which projects could all fit in, and really appreciate how everybody worked together and gave up a little bit of a project in their district to help somebody out in somebody else's district. So it was really impressive, and I want to thank all of you. This is done. We're voting on this like way sooner than I thought we were going to, because we still have 7 hours left. But thank you so much again to Senator Pappas, and it has been truly an honor to work with you, and I look forward to doing this again in the future years. Thank you.
Senator Johnson.
Mr. President, thank you. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Senator Pappas and Senators Housley, who have worked very, very hard on developing this bill. This year I had a front row seat as minority lead to see the process and what's going into this and how much work it takes to actually get that spreadsheet filled out. So they have earned that, and their assistants and LAs and the nonpartisan staff, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, this is a big, big task to get this list done. So I'd also like to go back to March, when the bonding bill first came out, and Senate Republicans have voiced from the very beginning that we had some concerns about not necessarily what was in the bill, but what the priorities were. And so we took a lot of heat on not passing the bill out of the Senate at that time. But I think the end product, the resulting deal, the package that we got, is something that we can be proud of. It helps nursing homes. It takes care of infrastructure. It does the things that Minnesotans asked for. They asked for us to work bipartisanly, and this is the product that came out of that. So I'd like to thank Senator Dietzig and her teams, Speaker Hortman, and Minority Leader Damath over on the House side as well, for coming to the table, bringing this bill, working together, and I really enjoyed the conversations, the process that we had in finding mutually agreed upon language and projects. It was something that I'm very proud of, and moving forward, I hope that's the model that we see more and more of in this body and in this institution. I do want to make one correction to Senator Pappas. She got everything else right, but these two bills, the cash bill and this GO bill that we passed, are only two legs of the stool. The final leg will be the nursing home bill, which we have been assured will be coming over here soon when the House has an opportunity, and we will be voting on that. And that is a huge part of this project. That's going to be looking to save our nursing homes across the state, and the key to ensuring that we can get this done. And without this bonding bill, that would have never happened. So I just want to thank those who are working on this, whose projects are involved with this. This is a big undertaking. And I'm just glad to be at the point where we are. I'm very proud of the work that was done here. So thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Dietzig.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to echo what Senator Minority Leader Johnson said. I want to thank the other leaders. I want to thank the Senator Housley, Senator Pappas, Representative Erdahl, and Representative Fooley, because it was a lot of mad scrambling back and forth, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning emails. I want to echo what Senator Housley said. I want to truly thank the staff, because I would say we blew through their deadlines, and I am very appreciative to them that even though we were making last-minute changes and tweaking language and correcting language, and we blew through those their deadlines, they still got us the language and this bill in a timely fashion. So I want to truly, truly, truly thank staff. I also want to agree with Senator Johnson that we do have the nursing home bill. That was part of the agreement. That will be coming over from the House shortly. So thank you to everybody for their work and their patience. And I think this is a great bill, a great package of bills that will benefit all communities all across the state. Thank you.
Senator Pappas as the author.
Just one more thank you. That was really key to making this happen. If you're listening, Representative Dean Erdahl, who always has cared so much about the infrastructure in our state, whether he was chair or minority lead of the Capital Investment Committee, and his persistence. I know he was very persistent with the GOP caucus over here and wrangled all the House Republicans to support the bill early in session. And again, it's been a real bipartisan effort, and I'm I'm speechless. I think I'm going to cry. I'm just so happy to be here today passing this bill. Thank you all.
The Secretary will take the roll on final passage as amended to House File 669. Members, please vote. And remember, we need 41 votes. Senator Bowden, for those voting under Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I report that Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Mann votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator Port votes aye.
Senator McEwen votes aye.
Senator
McEwen.
McEwen votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye.
And Senator Morrison votes aye. Senator Rasmussen, for those voting under Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Barr votes no.
Senator Barr votes no.
Mr. President.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Pratt votes aye.
Senator Pratt votes aye. Is Senator Eichhorn voting today? All senators having voted who desires to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 56 ayes and 11 noes, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Members remaining under motions and resolutions, Senator Abler for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's a tough act to follow, but I'll try. I would move that Senate File 3327 be withdrawn from the Committee on Environment, Climate, and Legacy and be returned to its author. It needs more work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Abler moves that Senate File 3327 be withdrawn from the Committee on Environment, Climate, and Legacy and returned to the author, and he is the author. On that motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Dziedzic.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we're still waiting for the nursing home bill to come over from the House. And then at that point, when it comes over, we also will have another revisor's bill, exciting revisor's bill, and possibly having discussion with the nurses on a third bill that will be a compromise agreed upon bill. So with that, Mr. President, I ask that we recess to the call of the President. Members, it could be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Thank you.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is now in recess until the call of the President.